When Minnesota first comes to mind, what's the first thing you think of outside of sports?
Ooh. The restaurant closed, but it was 7.
7?
It was like a steakhouse. They had really good cream corn.
Okay.
I like cream corn, so that's probably the first thing that comes to mind.
When you heard you were coming here, what were the thoughts and emotions going through your head?
Like, I think I couldn't process it actually. Coming off the court, thinking I'm about to play against them to hearing I'm playing with them. So I think that was probably the most confusing thing for me, just kind of understanding like, okay, you got to like switch mentalities right quick. Like you got to turn the game mode off and get acclimated to this new life.
So did you take the plane ride home with the Timberwolves?
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't get to go back to your place, I'm assuming?
Nah, so fortunately they stayed the night.
Okay.
So that helped me out a lot. They stayed the night and I was able to pack some things. Actually just hung out, went to the bar for a quick sec and just just gathered my thoughts. Like just took some time to really process what happened and then I packed and for the remainder of the road trip and then just kind of just went with the win.
I know this is part of the business, you guys being traded like that and the drop of a dime. But how hard is that for a player? You guys are human, like we hear all the time. I know there's emotions for you having to leave a city that you have been in for a couple of years. How hard is it?
I think the first time, when something keeps happening or when you continue to do something that's difficult, it almost becomes easy. So this being the second time didn't hit as much. It didn't hurt as much. There wasn't. I loved Utah, but I had rented an apartment. In New Orleans, I bought a house. So it's like, a lot of different things. So I think I did things right the second time to where you don't feel as much attachment. Like you love and I'm grateful for everything that comes my way. And I think that's just how I have to start looking at it now. It's like, it's hard to be on the move and to not know. And I was just thinking, being like 3 kids and a wife and they got school, they got friends. Like, fortunately, I just got myself to have to worry about how I'm gonna feel waking up somewhere else, and I think for that part it's just difficult, but for me it's easier with less baggage, I guess.
Well, let's talk basketball. You came to a team that are 2 spots ahead of your former Utah Jazz, so you have a chance to go to the playoffs, play in the play-in game. What does it mean to come to a program like this where you guys have a chance to compete for a title?
It's exciting and it means a lot because that's all you ever want to do, in the NBA. When you think about how many guys have been in the NBA ever, and then you think about how many have actually won, and that number dwindles by a lot. So any chance you get to do something special and meaningful, it's appreciated and it means a lot and it's exciting and you just want to jump in and just go all in. And so for me, it's just locking into what they need for me to do in order for those things to happen.
When you look at the roster and the makeup of the roster, how do you think your game will complement everybody on the team?
I think just because I'm able to do so much, guard, pass, score when needed be, I think that you can piece me in. I'm fortunate enough to know how to use my length now to play hard and to be a great teammate. And I think with guys like Ant to space the floor and Cat as well, getting them in positions. I think what D'Lo did well when he was here, trying to just fill those shoes.
Final question I have for you, because I know you have to get around to everybody else. When you look at the Western Conference and how good this team is, but you look at teams like the Warriors who are behind the Timberwolves right now, you think about KD going to Phoenix and Kyrie going to Dallas. Just how competitive will the playoffs in the Western Conference be, and how much of a challenge is that for you guys?
It's what a time, man. Honestly, when you say stuff like that, it's just like, dang, like that's exciting. I mean, like this is prime time NBA basketball right now, and for it to be in the West and the playoffs and literally like from 6 through 12, everyone's a game and a half apart, and it just goes to show like how quick everything could turn, how quick everything could change, and this is where the fun happens. This is like where you get to see what guys are made of, and you get to like be a true competitor, and that's really cool.
Congratulations and good luck in Minnesota Blue, and we'll be rooting you on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
So take me back to the day you found out the news. How did you find out the news? What were the emotions like?
Yeah, I officially found out the news like literally as I go out to do my warm-up pregame. I had talked to the GM in Utah, and he just like, yeah, the trade it's not final, but it's, you know, they're really working towards it, and don't know if you're going to play tonight or not. So I'm like, okay. So in my mind, I've heard those words a few times throughout my career. I'm like, that something's happening. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go do my workout. Did my workout, came back in. Didn't want to alarm the guys on the team, you know, that something was going down or anything. So, and then it officially broke like 15 minutes later when I got back to the locker room, and that it was a done deal, and started saying goodbyes. And you know, it's kind of good that it happened there. I got to see a lot of people, and people you've got great relationships with, and say goodbye to them. And I wasn't sure if I should like walk to the, you know, away locker room and start like shaking hands with everybody or not. So I was like, you know, I'm just gonna go home and see my kids and tell them what's going on. And so it was a pretty, you know, pretty much a roller coaster.
As a member of the media, we're to look ahead, to think about what this means athletically for the team, but for you as a human being, how hard is this? I know it's something you've been through before, but I'm sure it doesn't get easier. Yeah, no,
it's definitely tough. It's not something that you prepare for all the time. It's definitely something that can happen, and you try to tell your wife and kids like any moment we could be somewhere else, but they're in their mind it's not going to happen. You know, you're going to be here. You're at home. They got their friends. They got school. Like we live in a great spot where their kids live across the street. Like stuff that parents like dream for. And you know, you get that, and then as soon as you settle down, like something changes, and that's what's happened here. And we're just, you know, our family's been so resilient, you know, throughout the years. My wife's been, you know, the rock, and my kids are at a good age where they can kind of be okay with, you know, moving around and meeting new people. So it's at a good time, regardless of, you know, how hard it is. You know, we've got a good foundation to you know, have the support through it.
Let's talk hoops now. You've been in the league since 2007. What do you feel like you have to offer this year in 2023?
Shoot, I still feel like I'm myself. And I think that gets overlooked a lot, is like people talk about age and all that and like how many years. Like I'm like, man, I'm still the same guy. Like I can still score a lot if I need to. I can still like defend. I can still like make plays for everybody and control games. Like I feel the same. And that's the most important part to me, is when I'm myself, I can bring a team from one level to another, and this team has that potential, you know, the roster that we have.
I asked Nickeil about this. When you look at the roster and the makeup of this roster, and then you look at the Western Conference, Kyrie going to Dallas, KD going to Phoenix, you got the Warriors who are behind you guys right now. It's going to be really, really competitive down the stretch. As an athlete, I'm sure you cherish and love those moments, don't you?
Oh, for sure. Like, I've been in the Western Conference my whole life, and it's never not been competitive, and it's kind of built us in this way that we just want to play the best competition. We want to have that pressure. You want to have that, you know, feeling when you walk into the arena and you can't hear your voice when you're trying to speak to people because it's so loud and the moment's so, you know, raw and elevated. So to be in the mix right now, to have that opportunity to be around a team like this, guys who are young and hungry, want to succeed, great coaches and staff, it's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of.
First words from Rudy Gobert after the trade news went down.
So it wasn't actually words, it was just the two big eyes that you see on emojis. Yeah. It was like two of those. And so I was like, okay, what's going on? Is this an official deal? He was like, I think it is. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, so that was it.
Having this team being as competitive as you said you want them to be, what do you think they need to do from afar, from the outside looking in, that what you've seen of them, what do you think is missing from this team from taking that next step and being a team that competes for a title?
I think with the youth, it's just like connecting everybody through, whether it's leadership or just like that glue that keeps guys, you know, in moments and understanding details of each situation. This team has been in a lot of games. They've had a lot of leads. They've had some games where they slipped up, and teams have come back and won, and that's been a case of, like, sometimes if you don't have, the right mindset, if you don't have guys with that positive energy or taking moments to hold guys accountable, or those situations I don't let slide. I make sure to attack them right there and try to nip stuff in the bud and let things grow and progress into something negative. Hopefully that can rub off on these guys a little bit, my personality, my work ethic, all that, and teach them how to win at a high level.
All right, final question I have for you, because we have to get out of here. Do you step in right away and be a leader right away, or do you take your time to get a feel for the team?
It's kind of like I don't have time to wait,
Right.
so I kind of have to interject myself immediately, and I've tried to do that. I haven't come in and taken over the room and just made it about me or anything, but I've let guys be who they are, but at the same time, when I see stuff, I stop them and say, hey, this is how it should be done. This, try this or try that, or and I'm trying to keep in the ear of all these young guys to keep them locked in and focus on things that we can control.
All right, Mike. Well, good luck. We appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.